Fame shines brightly, but it also casts deep shadows. And what Yaman is living today is precisely this duality. To understand his present, it's not enough to look at his international career, his successes in Italy, Spain, or the Middle East. We must also consider his environment and the decisions that are shaping him. In recent months, people talk less about his talent and more about bad company, endless parties, alcohol, and smoking. What may seem like fun from the outside actually corrodes the discipline that once took him to the top and threatens his health. A single rumor, a compromising photo, or one wrong gesture can destroy million-dollar contracts and ruin an image built over years. Those who know him say his eyes have lost their sparkle, and that perception hits beyond the actor. It wounds the man. His personal relationships, friends, even family dynamics echo in his artistic life. Seeing him downcast worries fans and producers. But Can is not just any actor. His charisma and discipline made him a reference point. Yet now, he stands at a crossroads. Keep falling into excess or remember the enormous responsibility he carries and rise again. Demet Özdemir, on the other hand, has always been seen as strong and independent. She too has faced criticism and rumors, but chose silence as a shield. For many, that silence is not weakness but strength. She refused to give in to provocations and preserved her dignity. While Can is accused of arrogance, Demet is valued for her sobriety. She's not perfect, but she has proven that it is possible to resist without noise, to maintain respect and coherence. That's why, despite attempts to drag her into scandals, her image remains intact. The future of both will depend on their choices. Can, still young, has time to recover and regain discipline, and Demet will continue to embody the side of fame that does not need scandal to shine. The comments reflect a mixture of indignation and sadness. Some speak of a loss of principles, of the feeling that everything she once stood for has slowly crumbled. And although not everything said is fair, because social media can be cruel and excessive, there is still a perceived gap between Demet's public image and what she truly conveys today. Some think she has been carried away by bad influences. Others argue that she behaves like a rebellious young woman who does the opposite of what she is advised, as if constantly trying to prove that no one can control her life. What is worrying is that just like Can, Demet seems to have forgotten the weight of popular admiration. For years, she was seen as an example, a talented, free, strong actress able to make her way in a hostile environment. Now, however, headlines focus more on her relationships and private choices than on her acting work. And that is where the real problem lies, when talent is pushed aside because the noise of scandals ends up eclipsing everything else. Some point out that her closeness to certain controversial figures only drags her further into a sea of suspicion. Of course, she has the right to live as she wishes, but when those choices directly affect her reputation, the consequence is inevitable: disappointment. And it is not envy, as her staunch defenders claim, but something simple: consistency. The public that once admired her feels betrayed because they expected greater coherence between what she said and what she did. It pains me to think about her closest environment. Just as it is said that Can's mother suffers from what is happening with him, I can imagine how Demet's family must feel seeing her name constantly linked to rumors and criticism. She, who once radiated freshness and positive energy, now seems surrounded by a dark aura that dims part of her light. And as many point out, it is not a matter of losing talent, for she still has it, but of wasting it on situations that bring her nothing. And yet, I want to be fair. There are still those who believe in her, who defend her freedom and assure that behind this chaos, there is still the genuine Demet, the one who won audiences over with her charisma. Those fans do not give up and encourage her not to let herself be dragged down. The question is, will she be able to listen to those voices and rediscover her best version? Or will she continue walking as if blind to reality, approaching an abyss from which it will be hard to return? I believe Demet still has a way out. Unlike Can, her fall does not seem irreversible. There is still time to change direction and regain that strength that once made her stand out. But none of this will happen if she continues to surround herself with people and situations that drain her. Beauty and talent are not enough. What is needed is character, and true character reveals itself in the hardest of times. That is why I say it clearly. Demet Özdemir must remember who she is and what she represents. She must ignore empty flattery and focus on what matters: her profession, her dignity, the trust of an audience that, although hurt, still awaits her. Because time moves on, and the people's affection is not eternal. If she wants to remain a reference point, she must get out of this labyrinth and return to being that strong, radiant woman that many still keep alive in their memory.